So Thomas showed Dennis the way to the junction. The schoolhouse is further along that track, wheezed Thomas. Dennis watched Thomas puff away. Dennis had wanted Thomas to take his freight cars for him. Suddenly, Dennis had another idea. He blasted his horn again. Then again. Thomas heard the noise. He was worried. Dennis watched Thomas come back. His new trick had worked. Now Dennis would pretend to have something wrong with him. "Help!" Dennis cried. "I'm overheated. You'll have to shunt those freight cars for me." Thomas knew it was his day off, but he still wanted to help. "Don't worry," puffed Thomas. "I'll find another engine to help you. On my way to Bluff's Cove." Dennis was cross. He wanted Thomas to shunt his freight cars. Dennis decided to leave his freight cars. Then another engine will have to take them, he thought. So Dennis raced away. He didn't care about the tires. He didn't care about Thomas. All he cared about was getting far away from his work. His wheels were spinning faster and faster. Then there was trouble. "Help!" called Dennis. "Help! Help!" But this time, there was no one there to help. Thomas arrived at a signal. Percy had some important news. "The workmen are waiting for Dennis to bring the tires to repair the school roof. The children can't go to school until it's mended. And no one knows where Dennis is," Percy added. "I do," wheezed Thomas. "He's broken down. I must go back to help him right away." Thomas quickly found Dennis. Thomas was very surprised. "I thought you broke down at the junction," wheezed Thomas. "And where are the freight cars of tiles?" Dennis looked very shamefaced. "I tricked you," said Dennis quietly. "There was nothing wrong with me at the junction. I just didn't want to pull those heavy freight cars. I'm a really lazy engine," moaned Dennis. Dennis's wheels wobbled and his diesel oil dripped. Now Thomas could see that Dennis really was in trouble. So Thomas decided to help one more time. "I'll pull you back onto the tracks," Thomas puffed. "Then I'll be your back engine. That way we'll get the tiles to the schoolhouse in double quick time." Dennis smiled his biggest smile ever. Dennis and Thomas finally pulled into the schoolhouse station. Sir Topham Hatt was waiting. "Dennis, you have caused confusion and delay," he boomed. Dennis felt bad. "Thomas has shown me that being a really useful engine is much better than being really lazy," Dennis wheezed. Sir Topham Hatt was pleased. Thomas was pleased too. "Thank you, Thomas," Dennis hooted. "From now on, I will try to be a really useful engine."
"Mohon, Pak," kata Thomas. "Aku bisa membawa gula-gula lengket itu ke pesta." "Baiklah," kata kepala pengawas. "Tapi jangan mencoba membuat baju pesta lagi." Tidak lama kemudian, semua busa sabun dibersihkan dari tubuh Thomas dan dia pun melaju pergi. "Aku harus mengantarkan gula-gula itu tepat waktu pada anak-anak," kata Thomas. Tapi dia mulai memikirkan tentang baju pesta lagi. Thomas melaju ke bandara, dan di sana, tepat di landasan, dia melihat Jeremy si Jet. "Itu dia," kata Thomas. "Aku pasti terlihat hebat jika tiba di pesta dengan kostum pesawat." Thomas melihat Jeremy lepas landas menuju angkasa. Dia membayangkan kostum pestanya. Dia membayangkannya begitu lama. "Oh tidak, aku berhayal," kata Thomas. "Dan sekarang aku akan terlambat." Thomas melaju secepat mungkin, tapi dia tidak melihat arah jalannya. Thomas tidak sadar lajurnya telah diganti. Thomas melaju menuju perhentian dan menabrak penghalang. Gula-gula lengket itu bercipratan kemana-mana. "Oh tidak," keluh Thomas. "Aku tidak bisa membawa anak-anak ke pesta jika aku sekotor ini. Andai saja aku menyadari kesalahanku sejak awal." Kemudian Thomas melihat sebuah jalur lama. Ini memberinya sebuah ide. "Sebuah jalan pintas," kata Thomas. "Jika aku lewat jalur itu, aku pasti masih sempat mengantarkan gula-gula ini ke pesta tepat waktu." Thomas pun melaju di sepanjang jalur lama. Sudah lama jalur itu tidak digunakan. Ranting-ranting pohon bergelantungan di sepanjang rel dan semak-semak juga sangat tinggi. Tapi Thomas terus melaju dengan hati-hati. Dia tahu dia sudah terlambat. Karena itu, dia tidak memikirkan baju pesta lagi. Dia hanya memikirkan caranya tiba di pesta tepat waktu. Thomas melaju menembus semak-semak dan ranting-ranting pohon, tapi dia masih tertutup gula-gula yang lengket. Sehingga dedaunan dan ranting pohon itu menempel di gula-gula seperti lem. "Harus tiba di pesta, harus tiba di pesta," kata Thomas. Saat Thomas tiba di pesta, dari cerobong hingga rodanya penuh dengan dedaunan dan ranting. Semua orang bersorak-sorai melihatnya. "Aku membawakan kalian gula-gulanya," kata Thomas sedih. "Tapi aku terlalu kotor untuk mengangkut kalian." Anak-anak bersorak-sorai. "Kau tidak kotor. Kau memakai baju pesta yang hebat. Kau yang paling hebat di antara kami." Thomas sangat senang. Pesta berjalan dengan sangat lancar, dan ada satu hal yang paling populer dari permen apel yang lengket, yaitu Thomas si gula-gula lengket.
Dia tak tahu Thomas sedang menuruni bukit. Thomas lepas kendali. Thomas menarik rem sekuat tenaga, tapi gerbong ikannya terlalu berat. "Aduh!" teriak Thomas. "Maaf." Salty tertutup dengan ikan. "Tak apa-apa," kata Salty. "Baunya mengingatkan akan laut." Masinis Thomas menelpon minta bantuan. Lalu Harvey datang membersihkan rel. Thomas khawatirkan apa yang akan dikatakan Pak Pengawas. ia segera tahu. Kau telah mengakibatkan kebingungan dan keterlambatan, kata Pak Pengawas. Kau harus belajar untuk lebih aman. Ya maaf Pak, kata Thomas dengan sedih. Jadi kali ini Thomas hanya merangkai 5 gerbong. Ia menarik nafas panjang dan mulai bergerak. Thomas berjalan melintasi pedesaan. Aku akan sampai di dermaga tepat waktu, katanya. Tapi gerbong-gerbong usil kembali beraksi. Tahan! Canda mereka. Tapi kali ini hanya ada 5 gerbong. Thomas menarik, menahan, dan mendorong mereka. Dan gerbong-gerbong itu berhenti mengganggu. Begitu ia selesai mengantar rangkaian pertama, Thomas segera kembali untuk mengambil yang berikut. Kopelnya baru tenggiri, kabinnya baru ikan kod. Tapi ia bekerja begitu keras sehingga ia lupa akan baunya. Akhirnya tinggal 1 rangkaian yang perlu diantar. Tapi sudah waktunya kapalnya akan berangkat. Thomas berpacu secepat mungkin. Rodanya mulai sakit dan perangkainya terjepit. Tapi ia berhasil tiba tepat waktu. Thomas senang bisa berpisah dengan ikan-ikannya. Lalu Pak Pengawas mendatangi Thomas. Aku tahu kau tak suka bau ikan, tapi kau telah bekerja keras, kata Pak Pengawas, dan kau adalah lokomotif yang berguna. Thomas bangga sekali, tapi tubuhnya masih bau ikan dan dia tak sabar bisa dibersihkan. Jadi ia pergi ke tempat pencucian. Arthur dan Salty sudah ada di sana. Mandi memang menyenangkan, kata Arthur. Bagian yang terbaik, kata Salty. Terutama jika kita bau ikan, kata Thomas.